North Korea isn't the greatest of places if you're planning a vacation. There isn't a heavy demand for trips to North Korea given the country's turbulent political atmosphere, strict regime, and totalitarian society. Over the years, North Korean governments have been the subject of plenty of debates. There's no end to the amount of political drama that the North Korean government has been at the center of. Therefore, it should come as no surprise that a country of North Korea's reputation has some over-the-top and extreme laws that its citizens are subjected to. North Korea has some really bizarre laws one must look out for and observe unnecessary and petty to downright unpleasant and discriminatory. So strap in and get ready because we're about to talk about some peculiar laws and regulations found only in North Korea. Number 1. Government controls who lives in the capital. With government controlling everything from food to poop, it shouldn't come as a surprise that the autocratic country also controls where its people live. In North Korea, one needs government permission to be able to live in the capital, Pyongyang. Additionally, the owner of any dirty vehicle entering the capital city is fined, and those traveling out of the capital need a travel certificate. Number 2. You can't make international phone calls. The integrity and solvency of Kim Jong-un's regime depends upon stifling and regulating the flow of information that moves in and out of the country. Because of this, citizens are not allowed to make international phone calls. Cell phones are permissible in North Korea, but they too are meticulously regulated. For example, cell phones can only make domestic calls. If someone is caught making an international call, usually on a black market Chinese cell phone, they could be put to death. Number 3. North Koreans can visit only 28 websites. One of the greatest threats could potentially topple Kim Jong-un's regime is information. If information from the outside world made its way into the hands of average North Koreans, it could incite a revolution that would throw Kim's reign into jeopardy and alter the lives of every person in the country. Obviously, Kim knows this. As a result, internet usage is strictly regulated and controlled. The only people allowed internet access are typically government officials and those granted special permission. But it's not as if there is too much to look at online in North Korea. One 2016 report said there are only 28 active websites currently allowed. Number 4. Only 28 hairstyles for men. Since 2013, North Korea has taken a keen interest in the hairstyles of its citizens as a way to implement uniformity and maintain a tight hold on even the most personal aspect of people's lives. There are 28 state-approved hairstyles from which women can choose and 10 options for men. Men must keep their hair less than 5 centimeters, around 2 inches long. Older men are given a wider berth at 7 centimeters, around 3 inches. The government has ordered women to keep their hair short, but unmarried women are also allowed to wear their hair a bit longer. And while Kim Jong-un's hair, of course, is world famous, it's not an allowable hairstyle in North Korea for anyone but him. Number 5. North Korea has their own rules for basketball. North Korea has visibly isolated itself from the rest of the world, and it also reflects in the way they played their sports. Their whimsical leader does everything on his own accord. No wonder he rewrote the basketball rules as well. The North Korean basketball rules say that slam dunks are worth 3 points, and field goals in the final 3 minutes of the game are worth 8 points, as opposed to the normal 2 points. Number 6. If you commit a crime, your whole family is punished. Of the many human rights abuses and brutal dictatorial restrictions that North Koreans live in constant fear of, the country's 3-generation rule is one of the most insidious. The rule states that after government convicts someone of a crime and sends them to a labor camp, the criminal's entire family will be seized and sent to labor camps as well. In addition, the following 2 generations of the family that are born and raised in the camp must remain there for their entire lives. Family members and descendants have not technically committed a crime, but their guilt comes from their association with and relation to their convicted relative. This is a way to keep crime to an absolute minimum and ensure that all North Koreans fall in line. Number 7. You are legally required to vote in all elections. After major elections, Americans often ponder what it'd be like if more people took an active part in our democracy and voted. But in North Korea, a country that rejects democratic ideals, citizens are given no choice in the matter or whether or not they go to the polls. They must. Any citizen over 17 years of age is required by law to vote. It's less an exercise in democracy and more of a way for the government to monitor the populace. Not only is there no choice as to who you vote for, but according to one defector, the government checks the list of voters, and if your name is not on the list, they will investigate it. It's often during an election that the government finds out about defectors. Number 8. No smiling on the anniversary of Kim Il-sung's death. Kim Jong-un's grandfather, Kim Il-sung, is presented as the benevolent father of the nation. Though he died in 1994, the date of his death, July the 8th, is a day of nationwide mourning, just as his April birthday is a day of national celebration, and North Koreans are expected to grieve and grieve noticeably. The law forbids smiling or even talking loudly on July the 8th. North Korea takes its mourning seriously. When Kim Jong-un's father, Kim Jong-il, died, citizens were sent to labor camps for not grieving hard enough. This law carries over into any reverential activities surrounding both Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. No gum chewing, loud talking, or boisterous behavior is allowed near their statues or during times of paying respect. Number 9. The government controls all television programming. You won't find any international television stations broadcasting in North Korea. All programming is strictly controlled by the government, which sanctions just 4 official television channels. There's a Korean Central Television, the main media hub that announces all state news and has the most advanced broadcasting equipment of the 4 channels, 2 educational channels, and a sports channel. The government produces every word that is uttered on these stations. Pyongyang hotels, the hotels that host foreign travelers and diplomats, occasionally air Chinese government-owned channels. Broadcasts are often literally shouted, and with great gusto and unbound joy. Number 10. Every citizen is organized according to the caste system. The caste system is alive and well in North Korea. Every citizen falls into one of 3 main castes. The core class is considered the country's elite citizenry and includes Kim Jong-un and his closest confidants and their relatives. The wavering class accounts for most of the country's residents and is comprised of families of artisans, small shopkeepers, and traders, those repatriated from China, and intellectuals educated under Japanese rule. The lowest rung on the ladder belongs to the hostile class, which includes those governments that have deemed undesirable or an enemy of the state, lawyers, landlords, and Christian ministers, and those with relatives in these fields are members of the hostile class. Many of these castes are holdovers from the result of the bitter Korean War of the 1950s, which is still technically ongoing. The castes very much dictate a citizen's status and how much they are allowed to move and do in their lifetimes within the restrictive regime. Do you have any other information about North Korea, or are there any other countries which have these specific type rules? Do share your views in the comments below. Make sure to also subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to get updated when we upload more cool videos just like this. And I will see you in the next video.